Welcome to the Heartwork Podcast, where we delve into stories, struggles, and triumphs of entrepreneurship, leadership, and personal growth. I'm Dr. Sara.
And I'm Dr. Marisa. We're here to guide practitioners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and those just navigating the complexities of life on a journey of discovery that explores the dance between passion and strategy, heart and hustle.
With candid conversations, insightful interviews, and plenty of laughs, get ready to uncover how leading with heart can transform your business and life. Let's dive in.
Hey, y'all. Okay, so we have had a ton of people talk to us, and also just, I feel like it's kind of been in the ecosystem in the universe a little bit about when you add in, maybe it's also a first-time person, or you are adding in multiple different leaders or multiple different doctors into your presence, like how to actually continue to lead them in a way that requires you. And also sometimes you might also be asking of yourself to be able to, you're getting ready to really want to step back potentially from what you're currently doing. And for one, as we get into this conversation, I have two things. Sometimes I think we can have expectations for human beings that they truly cannot meet. And this is going to be for all facets of your team. If you have an expectation that you've hired an entry-level position, but yet you want them to be an operations manager at some point, you probably are going to be very disappointed. If you have an expectation that you don't want to be in the office anymore and that you don't want to ever adjust anymore in the chiropractic world, and you have hired an associate but not truly given them the opportunity for proper training and proper development, you are going to be majorly disappointed. So like there has to be a level of understanding of what the expectation is that you have, and that you have the opportunity to also really provide a journey for where that human is going to be going so that they have understanding and clarity of what they can also receive from you. So that is one. And then two, I think sometimes that we can look and see what other people are doing in our world and think that's exactly what I need to be doing when it comes to how I train, how I lead, how I set myself apart and grow and scale my business. And at the same time, there are people in every industry that you're going to glean from, take from, and really organize things with, just because there are really beautiful systems, they're really good frameworks, and they're really good just implementation guides, essentially, to be able to really honor humans and honor your process. But I will tell you that literally every single freaking human is so different. And every single framework may need to be given the space and given the wiggle for the sake of the human that you have hired and the human that you desire to develop and lead. You also have the opportunity to say, no, I don't even want to give any wiggle. But then that is an expectation that you have. So you get to match that. You, the leader, get to match what it is that you're wanting to create. If you want to create a really hard, rigid type of environment, that's totally okay. You have complete free autonomy in that. However, you need to know then the people that you're going to be hiring also need to carry that same type of thing. You're not going to be able to have a wallowing, crying baby in the background because they're not going to like measure into the rhythm of that at the same time. So at the end of the day, before we get into this, is just realize the expectations that you have, and are you placing expectations on people that they truly cannot meet? And also at the same time, are you willing to lead through something to help somebody actually touch and reach their potential at the same time?
Yeah, I think that's a great point because it's just truly understanding the role that you're hiring for and the person that you're calling in to fill into that role, right? Like it's okay to have expectations and desires for what that role is. I think it's when we start to like role creep and it's like, we actually have intentions for this role to be Z, but we're actually training and getting them started in the role to be, it's an S. Like
Yeah.
it has the gap between that is so different. And that was uncommunicated in maybe your interview process. So you didn't really get to discern it with yourself or anyone else that helped you hire in that space. You didn't really get to ask the questions that you truly needed then to understand if this person would be able to move through whatever process that looks like to eventually want to see them in that higher scope and in that higher role. And that's not to say that people can't develop skills, et cetera. But when you're looking for higher level positions like that, when you truly are looking for like operations manager, if you want to hire, like for us, we're going to talk about this in the chiropractic world because that's just where we are. So if any of you out there are not in like the health sector, please just adopt this for your business. But for the sake of making these analogies really freaking clear, sometimes I feel like it's just easiest for us to speak it in us. Like hiring an associate doctor, if you're hiring an associate doctor because you just want them to be an adjusting horse and literally adjust all day, you need to say that to them. You need to
Mhm.
let them know the expectation is that you're going to be adjusting X amount of people on a day to day basis. We're going to train you through it. We're going to train you to it. But that is going to be the level of expectation we hold for you versus just hiring someone on and letting them know, yes, you're going to be here. We have two other doctors. We want to help decrease our wait times. We want to help increase our experience, blah, blah, blah. But you're actually desiring to step away. So now, yeah, there's three of you doctors present in the practice, but like two of you are actually only going to be adjusting at one time. So the
Mhm.
level of expectation, the level of presence, the level of social skill, the level of holding boundaries and not, you know, carrying all the emotional weight of your patients, the ability to switch between different people, different situations, different energetic presence is going to be a different level of skill that's also, if it's not innate to that person, is going to take just more time for them to develop that capacity. You're literally
Mhm.
asking them to stretch into something that they are unfamiliar with. However, if you have someone that's like, I am working. I want to just see all the people. It lights my day up to just be invested with people, be out. And you're like, cool, I need help with like admin and I need someone to just like, take over the back end, support my team and CAs. They're like, they're not going to thrive in that same environment. So I think like really getting clear about what you're hiring for in the gap and that can evolve, but then being okay with adapting your expectations
Mhm.
saying, listen, as we're going through, here's what I'm seeing as your strengths. Here's what our business as it continues to evolve, because it's a living, breathing freaking organism that is also going to change just with life happening. Like, these are where we're going to need to see some call in. How are you aligning with that? What do you need in support to be able to feel confident and ready for that? They might not always be ready. They might need to get thrown to the wolves sometimes. They may need to feel what that stretch is like, but you can still provide the psychological safety net. We've talked about the analogy of the trapeze artist multiple times on these podcasts. You can still provide that support, even though you're calling them up and out to something different.
Mhm.
And I think sometimes we get so locked in the sense that like, well, like they should just be able to adapt because we adapt. It takes a different kind of person to be a business owner than it does to be an employee of a business. And just because your brain fires at 500 cylinders and you wake up at night thinking about your business and blah, 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 doesn't mean that everyone else is going to operate in that same space as you. And
Mhm.
so to expect the same from someone that hasn't developed that same muscle as you, like you're going to come up against some resistance. And then you're going to feel like they're going to feel like they're feeling you because you want perfection from them or whatever. Even if you don't, that's how it can be perceived.
Mhm.
And I think that's where we get some of the disconnect, but also really getting freaking clear about what it is that they need to know, how it is that they need to train, what's the level of detail and expectation. You got some people that just want like the framework, the ingredients, and you got people that want the freaking measuring cups and the recipe and the step-by-step guide, right? And so you have to be okay with saying, okay, I might be a person that just likes ingredients, but that's a person that needs the fucking recipe. And you better create the recipe or invite them to create a recipe and then you get to refine it based off of how you typically operate in the day to day. But that's where it becomes a true team collaborative effort. So when
Mhm.
you are, let's say, in a position where you are trying to simultaneously like hire someone in or train someone up, as you are also wanting to see more from your own life as a CEO, or just trying to like set aside some time to do the like, business admin work, to do the actual true CEO visionary dreaming work, then to actually be present with your team and your business, that might be on pause for a little bit. you're still going to need to set aside times and periods for that, but you may need to be more on the ground, more in the roots with that person for that training period to really give back to them. I have noticed this a lot with hiring my newest associate. When they came in, it was like at the time where I was just starting to come back to practice after tearing my Achilles. And we knew that we had a goal of getting her in the adjusting rooms earlier because that's where the business was going to need the most support. But as we've continued to like train and calibrate this individual into what our homestead essence is, it's required me to pour more of my essence into her so that she can really see it, feel it, smell it, embody it, taste it, understand it, because it's not something that just comes fucking natural to everyone. It's not just going to come natural to the people that you hire in your team of what your expectations are, what the business requires. That comes with time and with experience. And so being able to be present with them, that doesn't mean that you need to be available at all times of every day, but creating structure for them, creating intention for them, being able to pour in and guide is going to be really, really fruitful. And the time you spend doing that now will help tenfold what you're wanting to do in the future with the time that you're looking to take back. But it may require that little bit of a season, and it might not be the perfect 30, 60, 90 days that you think for them to get to mastery, but can you get them to where the level of expectation is? And how do you help guide them through that? I think sometimes we hire people because we know that we need it or we know that we're going to need it. And we forget because we've done it so many times before, the level that it takes from you to really build them up to the individual and the employee and the team member that you want them to carry and hold.
I love how you said sometimes it's giving the expectation and giving the recipe. And then also, you might have somebody on your team that is really good at creating the recipes,
Mhm.
and the like when I think about my clinical director, gosh, she like had so much grace for me as I was literally leading her and in really developing what it meant to create a role for her at the same time because she at the end of the day, like she could have started her own practice and done all the things. But she bought into our vision, our mission, and has really hung out to be with who we are and what we're creating. But I had to really give her very clear understanding for a season of time. And also, she had to get really strong to be able to also come back to me with feedback and say, hey, actually, when I went through my internship and when I really was onboarded as a new doc, this could have been a lot better. And I really want to make this a lot more efficient, effective, and a lot more honoring for any new person that comes on so that we can retain, keep, and make sure that they really feel like they're a part of who we are and what we're creating. And when I first heard that the first time, I was like, shit, well, what did I do wrong? Like, I'm sorry. It's like that same point. But it's like I'm really grateful for her because then it came to this point where I was like, okay, well, we got to have then a conversation of like, well, what did you think could have changed? Where could I have done better? And also at the same point, like, what do we want now as we're creating? And also knowing that I'm not going to probably get another her. So how do we continue to like meld that and mold that for that human? And now even we have just the scenario that she's in a much higher level leadership capacity now. And she's now having to dance with it in her own leadership of, okay, because she came to me just a couple weeks ago and was like, I just want everybody to be like me. And I'm like, good, good. Now you know what it's like, because unfortunately that's not possible. Like we literally had a fun conversation. I'm like, I'm so glad that you see this because I'm like,
Oh.
it was like you at the same time, but it's just, like we're all different humans, right? And everybody learns different and everybody handles stress different. Everybody handles their outside life different. And we have the beautiful opportunity to come alongside that. You get to choose whether you want to, I guess, or not. And at the same time, if you really do want to, again, honor somebody's process, it's asking what that individual needs and making sure that your journey aligns with that and also still holds them to a standard and expectation with where you desire them to go. We are really, at least for us, we're a lot stronger and a lot firmer than we ever have been when it comes to expectations because I've done this for long enough and have had multiple doctors, have had multiple team members that just are not in alignment for whatever the season may be. And that's okay. Like people are there for a purpose and for a reason and for a season. And that can be a really short one. And sometimes it may be a really long one. And so that's also where I think we could put our grubby little hands in there and try to control an outcome. And we hold on really, really tightly to try to make sure that we have an understanding of where somebody's going to track and how they're going to evolve within your practice and your business. And so all the fun parts of navigating leadership. Yeah, I
I
see
just
you.
want to point out that I think let's go there for a moment because I have noticed so much change in myself in the way that I led and held accountability and expectations when I first started my practice compared
Mm,
to where I am now. And I love that you said that in the sense that, like, we've been doing this for long enough. Like, we know what we need, we know what we want, we've seen the signs, and we've had the experiential awareness and
mhm,
development in knowledge to recognize patterns right away and also know, okay, what do I actually need? Is this person going to continue to grow with us, or is this actually not matching up the way that we want it to, or that we're expecting it to? And I think that that is something that can be really challenging for young entrepreneurs. And I don't mean young as an age, I just mean green in
mm,
leading and in managing team. Because we look at other people who have done this for so long and they're like, how do you know this? What do you mean? Or they might look at those individuals and be like, man, you're hard. Like, I don't want to be like that. I want to be softer. I want to be more understanding. I want to have more grace. Y'all, you can do that and be kind while still being firm and holding accountability to your standards. In fact, it's going to save you a shit ton of headaches because you're not going to feel resentful. You're not going to feel unheard as a leader, knowing what it is that you want and need and feeling constantly disappointed by someone not meeting that because you're not being clear enough, direct enough with the expectation that you hold. And holding that accountability and be like, this is not matching up with what you said you would do or what we have communicated that we need. Where's the disconnect? How can we support you more? Is there something we're not providing for you that could assist you? Is there something in the way that you're noticing how you're showing up to this that needs extra support and recalibration or a new strategy? Like, that's still kind. You're seeing that person, you're saying, I recognize the potential in what was supposed to happen or what we want to see, but there's just a disconnect with what's actually the reality of the situation. And that's
right.
where those people get to really prove or show to you whether they're willing to be in that space with it, recognize it. Do they have the self awareness? Do they have responsibility? Do they have accountability within themselves? And you get to then hold that standard. But that is a muscle that is built over time. I was very much like this. I had lots of students in my practice. I wanted to be the person that was just liked for everything. I wanted to provide the space where everyone and anyone could just come in and learn. And the more busy we've gotten, the more time we've had team turnover, the more people that we've understood and have had in our practice, the more we understand exactly what it is that we need to feel the best in our practice, to operate the best in our practice, to hold the standard of excellence that we want in our practice, not just for us as a team energetically, but for the way that also translates to our clients. And when you want to protect that, you're going to get really freaking clear about your expectations with it. But it comes with time. So, like, if you're in the middle of this and are still developing this muscle, as guess what? We all are. It's just going to keep continuing to be developed because that's what it is. We don't think ever reach that destination. Like the person that you and I are going to be in 5 more years of leadership is probably going to look different than the person we are today. But just give yourself grace for that. But understand if you're starting to feel something in your gut that is not aligning with what you're communicating for it, take a quick little mirror moment because it's also probably in the way that you're showing up for that individual too.
So we are hosting our second Hard Work Live event here in Knoxville. And we are so excited because, for one, we literally had so many people ask for more and want this. And so we are providing it again. But this is exactly a lot of the stuff that we are going to be talking about: how to integrate the heart work, and then how that filters into your leadership, how it filters into your systems, your team, your continued development. And you are not going to want to miss this. We are limiting the amount of people that can actually come because we do want to retain an intimacy where we can actually go there and sustain this opportunity to go deeper. And so March 13th, 14th, Knoxville, Tennessee. You can go to all the show notes, get all the information.
Our social media link in bio, we've been posting about it. So check out some of our recent reels or posts. The link is there. Email us if you need direct access. Get on our email list because that's where we're releasing a lot of the information too. And we hope to see you there.
So thank you for joining us on another episode of the Heartwork Podcast. We hope today's conversation has inspired you to lead with heart in your business and life.
If you enjoyed this, subscribe so you never miss a release, rate our show, leave us a review, get on our VIP email list, and join our exclusive Facebook group, The Heartwork Life, to plug into our community and learn from us and other heart-led entrepreneurs on a weekly basis.
We look forward to chatting with you next time.
Bye!